What got me started as a percussionist is sort of, I guess, what got everyone started as a percussionist. I found my dad's drum set in the attic and brought it down, assembled it, watched a video of Ringo Starr with the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, and pretty much didn't stop playing.
Well, when I was 5 years old, my grandparents took me to their church because every year they do Handel's Messiah. My eyes were glued to the timpanist the entire 4 hours.
I had a lot of aunts who had done marching band and they all really liked it, so if I hadn't done it, they probably would have made fun of me.
There was this big indoor drumline kind of session that was going on in middle school, and it was kind of, it was like a showcase of the drumline, and I looked at the front pit and I said, I want to play that.
I got into percussion actually pretty late because I played the trumpet and euphonium and piano. Our band director was a percussionist, and he was amazing, and I had really, really talented drummers. My grade, a couple years ahead, a couple years below. They're just all really good jazz drummers, and I just thought it was awesome. So when I started the 11th grade, I was just like, I don't want to play all this stuff anymore, I just want to play the drums.
In 5th grade, my future band director came to my elementary school and gave us all a test. We had to clap back rhythms and sing back melodies, and apparently I was a lot better at clapping back rhythms than I was at singing back melodies, so he asked me to be a percussionist. And so I started in 5th grade, and then I just kind of went on from there.
I mean, I chose to go into music because it's what I love to do. That makes all the world, and that makes everything. My dad works like at a factory, like you've seen The Machinist. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Machinist. That's what my dad does, and he absolutely hates it. He hates it. I mean, he's a trooper. He comes home and he's all smiles and telling jokes and stuff, but I know he hates it.
I like working with people. I like doing things hands-on. I like feeling good after a day's work, and believe me, there's nothing better than having a group of kids playing music, and it's just something that it's a concept you relate to them. They could have taken it one way or they could have taken it any number of directions, but they decided to take it seriously, and then all of a sudden they learned something.
I mostly chose music as my career choice because I wasn't thinking about how much money I would make from it. It was more of the enjoyment of playing music rather than the employment need.
I've always enjoyed doing it, and it's something I've always been able to see myself doing ever since I was 5, 6 years old.
When it came time to choose where I wanted to go to school, what I wanted to do, I basically had two choices. I could either do music or I could do some type of science, because those were the only two things that I've ever been good at, music and science. So even when I was applying to schools, I applied to some schools for music, I applied some for chemistry, and just kind of saw where that got me. And I realized when it came time to pick the school that I wanted, that I was more comfortable with music. It seemed more of a natural choice, and I had met the people at Appalachian State. I met Dr. Beebe, and I met some of the other people who work here, and I just felt really comfortable, and I don't know, it just seems like an obvious choice. I didn't have an internal debate at that point. Like when it came time to choose, it was like, this is what I want, and I didn't have a doubt anymore.
It's not, okay, let me send my resume to 4 companies and then someone's gonna hire me full time and that's what I'm gonna do from 8 to 5 every single morning, Monday through Friday. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But I don't like that anyway, because I work on a weird schedule. And sometimes I feel like staying home and watching Price is Right or something. You know, that's just what I like to do. So yeah, so it's not as structured, but you can make it work. Between like music and education, I pretty much funded myself for the past 8 years.
Teaching drumline can either be really, really, really fun, or it can be a nightmare, depending. It really depends on the kids, and a lot of times their discipline level. If you get a group who really enjoys what they're playing and really wants to learn, it can be a really fantastic experience, especially when you teach them things that are new to them that they've never seen before. Because I get that opportunity a lot as a substitute teacher, so I can teach them things that their normal person doesn't get to, or you know, something like that. But there's always going to be that one group that just decides they want to goof off, and sometimes that's not the easiest thing to work with.
Jobs as a percussionist are really few and far between, because like as a cellist or a flautist or a trumpeter, there's almost every piece of, you know, wedding literature and funeral literature and religious literature and things like that. They all need you. But for percussion, not many of us own our own instruments at all. So especially when it comes to things like timpani, which is going to be, if a church needs anything in terms of percussion, you know, it's going to start with timpani and then maybe a drum set. So not many.
Yeah, know the right people and just stay positive. Staying positive is good too.
Networking is just one of those things where it starts as one thing and basically it builds and builds and builds from that point on. So just that one little gig I had spread out to all these names that I know now, and you know, I'm getting calls at random points during the year. People, hey, I remember you played this gig very well, and it's some obscure gig way back in the past. Can you come teach my percussion kids? And you know, there's a job opening right here. And, you know, so from a gig that paid you $50, you know, didn't pay you for the gas, all of a sudden you got an opportunity for a career. So, I'd say you never know. You can always be nice to the people in your profession, because you just never know who they are and what they can do for you.
How do you plan to survive? I don't know.
That's a cheap question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fine. You can find ways to make it work.
For someone who wants to be a performer, you really have to take every gig that you get the opportunity for and build up yourself as a player until you can get the job that you want instead of the job that you need.
You have to not accept anything less than what you can do, and always try to push yourself to basically make yourself the best percussionist you can, and then, yeah, stuff will fall in place. If you're the best, then stuff comes to you.
All I want to do is music. You know, if I could pick one thing, it would absolutely be music. So I'm going to get my degrees, I'm going to get my education, and if I can make a living in music, which I'm going to give it my 100% absolute best to do, then that's fantastic and I'll be super happy. But if not, I've still got 2 college degrees, and that looks good regardless of what they're in, so you know, there's always plenty of other stuff I could do.
It's good to diversify too. If you don't want to teach and you want to be a musician, maybe you need to learn how to make websites or something. You know, something else. At least, you know, for a little while, until you get those connections, till, you know, you move up, you have a little more security in your job or whatever. So you do have to diversify. And in my mind, it's not diversifying, but in actuality it is. I'm in music and I'm in education.
It's just fun. Who wouldn't want to have fun for a living?